If you're looking for an easy way to squeeze more pumpkin into your daily routine this season, pumpkin French toast is the solution. It's simple enough to whip up a batch on a random morning, but special enough to serve for Thanksgiving or Christmas breakfast. Okay, let's make it. You'll only need 9 simple ingredients. Pumpkin puree. Please don't use pumpkin pie filling. Make sure your pumpkin puree only contains 1 ingredient. You can use my homemade pumpkin puree here, or store-bought works just fine as well. Eggs. I like to use organic or pasture-raised eggs whenever possible, but any eggs will do here. Pumpkin spice. Again, you can use my homemade pumpkin pie spice substitute or a store-bought version if you prefer. You could also substitute cinnamon in a pinch. Vanilla extract. Please use pure vanilla extract, not imitation vanilla flavoring. Milk. I use whole milk, but I'm sure that you could substitute low-fat milk if you prefer. I have not personally tried it, but I'm sure that you could use a plant-based milk for a dairy-free option. Maple syrup. I love the flavor of maple syrup to sweeten this, but you could substitute honey, brown sugar, white sugar, or a different sweetener of choice. Salt. I like to add a good pinch of salt to enhance all the other flavors of the custard. Thick slices of bread. This recipe will work with many different types of bread, but depending on which type of bread you use, the end result will of course be different. Your first choice should be a thick cut, somewhat soft bread. I used my sourdough sandwich bread here, but I think my sourdough brioche or soft sourdough French bread would also be good here. By the way, this is the perfect time to use up stale or day-old bread. You'll also need some butter for frying and probably some extra for serving as well. Okay, begin by whisking together the eggs, pumpkin puree, and pumpkin pie spice in a 13 by 9 inch pan. I like to go ahead and mix everything together in a large baking dish instead of mixing it together in a separate bowl, because this saves on dishes. Now, it works best if you mix these 3 ingredients together by themselves first. Otherwise, you'll have a hard time getting the pumpkin pie spice to mix into the rest of the ingredients. Trust. Add the remaining ingredients to the pumpkin mixture and whisk until completely smooth. Preheat a cast iron or a non-stick skillet over medium heat, or preheat an electric griddle to around 350 degrees. Add a few slices of bread to the custard and allow to soak for 30 seconds to 2 minutes. The amount of time that you'll soak your bread is determined by 2 factors: how soft you like your French toast and what kind of bread you use. If you're using a soft, fluffy, fresh bread, and most store-bought breads will fall into this category, you'll probably only need to soak the bread for 30 seconds per side. Maybe even less. If you go much longer than that, then the bread can start to fall apart. Also, if you're using this type of bread, you'll probably only want to dip 1 slice of bread in the custard at a time. Otherwise, the slices of bread could start to disintegrate before you get to them to the griddle. But if you opt for a more dense, sturdy bread, and most homemade sourdough breads will fall into this category, you may need to increase that time up to 2 minutes per side. This will allow the custard to soak into the bread adequately. If you're using a really dense, chewy artesian loaf, you may find that the custard doesn't really ever soak into the bread and create that soft French toast texture. It's better to opt for a softer sandwich loaf in this case. Alright, after your griddle or skillet has preheated for 2 to 3 minutes, add a generous amount of butter. Fry the soaked bread slices for 2 to 3 minutes per side, or until they're golden brown. If the toast starts to brown too quickly, you can turn the heat down to medium-low. Just keep an eye on it and adjust the heat as needed. Repeat with the remaining slices of bread. Serve immediately with butter and a drizzle of maple syrup. Or you could leave off the maple syrup and go for a dusting of powdered sugar. A caramel sauce would also be a lovely option. Make sure to check out the description for the measurements, plus storing and reheating tips. Now, if you're looking for a super easy pumpkin dessert, make sure to check out my baked pumpkin custard next. It's simple enough. You could also substitute You'll also need some butter for flying. Repeat with the Make sure to check out the description. Okay, I can't remember what to say.